Subscribe today to RacingAmerica.tv to join our racing community and get access to over 200 live pavement short track races each season from across the U.S. and Canada. Plus, RacingAmerica.tv has exclusive and behind-the-scenes coverage of the NASCAR Cup teams.
Enjoy competing with your teammates.
We already know.
Subscribe today and claim additional discounts and access. And your front row seat to watch the excitement and drama.
Car lifts up in the air.
From grassroots to NASCAR, become a subscriber today at the home for race fans everywhere.
You're watching Racing America right here on Racing America.
Racing America. It's in our DNA.
Is another Thirsty Thursday as we get rolling. Dirty Air with Rodney Rodriguez, catching it, most of you probably live on Racing America, and thank you all for being a part of the program. I love it already. Bubba's About Broke podcast. Holy moly, I love the name of that podcast. Man, just insert my name on that. But they know about to it. Checking in from Portland, Tennessee. So already right there. Go ahead and drop your comments there. Great show that we have lined up for you this evening. Going to talk some dirt racing coming up here in about 10 minutes or so. Going to talk to Matt Dooley. Matt Dooley, currently your point leader in crate Racin USA. Of course, that series presented by Rogers Dabb Chevrolet GM Performance, which is the title sponsor of this program. Also a sponsor on this program is On Demand Shirts out of San Antonio, Texas, which produces these amazing polos and T-shirts and all that cool stuff that I like to sport for myself. And by the way, I got to say it. You want one of those T-shirts? You want one of those caps? Scan that QR code right there, and it takes you right to the Dirty Air store at On Demand Shirts. And a big thanks to James Cole and all of those folks for doing that and putting all that together for me. Later in the show, very excited. Probably be towards the bottom of the hour, so somewhere kind of flirting around there. I'm going to talk to Brooke Storer, and it was just so great to see Brooke back in victory lane this past weekend with her win. It's been tough. It has been tough for young Brooke, but putting it all together there at Citrus County, and it's really cool to see that happen again. And I'm very excited for her and very happy for her family, and that entire racing team. It is Draft Thursday, so every weekday. As I'm here in Texas, I actually do a sports radio show. I do sports radio, but racing obviously is what I make a living doing. But it talking about the draft and all this stuff, and it's like, okay, so that's really going to be kind of the big story, which it is. It's still the big story. But hold on, hit the brakes. In the words of Buford T. Justice from the 1977 classic movie Smokey and the Bandit. Hold up on that car wash, gentlemen. See the news a while ago. The Snowball Derby. You saw it on the Five Flags Speedway page. $50,000. That's also a Smokey and the Bandit reference. Dollar. $50,000 now to the winner of the Snowball Derby. And that is massive. That is huge. And I got to say, very deserved for that race. Yeah, we talked to drivers and teams and team owners and all of those folks here on the program and across the various streaming networks about the cost of super late model racing. And that really makes sense to what that race should pay. In my opinion, it should pay more. But at the same time, that's where I'll kind of scale that back and say, well, they shouldn't be spending that much. But anyway, that's a whole different conversation we can have another time. But $50,000 right there now for the winner of the Derby. And that's, the huge, big congratulations and tip of the cap and whatever you want to say to Tim and Miss Pat for being able to put that together. I just think that's that race gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year, and you keep seeing it making strides and doing things where it really is the Super Bowl of short track racing, and obviously, elephant in the room. There's going to be a change right there with the streaming partner. It's going to move over to Flow. And the other part about that is, I try not to get into the social media stuff, but I look at it and it's stuff that'll make you crazy if you look at it long enough. And at some point, you gotta decompress and close your laptop down and just get away. But regardless, I don't give a damn who does it. I mean, it can be me, my 2 dogs, my wife, my 2 kids, as long as the presentation is great. That's what the end user deserves. And at the same time, it needs to be one of those situations to where folks need to understand that it's not just a matter of like sitting here in my studio. There's a camera right there pointing right at me, and it's a hell of a lot more than hitting start and just pointing the camera when you come to producing an event like the Snowball Derby. And it needs to be done, in the best way possible. Speed 51, the innovator in that, and then Racing America, it's shit's going to happen. And I'm sorry to use those words, but I mean, that's really the only way that I can describe it. Shit's going to happen, and sometimes you're going to have some hiccups in there. And I totally understand. That we're talking about hard-earned money, for folks that are going to pay, and you want this to work great. I mean, you want this to work great, and you want it to be flawless and seamless, but sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. And I really, it's ironic that this situation, or not situation, but that the change happened today where everything kind of shifting around a little bit with the Derby. But don't forget, the road to the Derby, the Blizzard Series, the Alan Turner Pro Late Model Series, all of that is still going to be right here on Racing America. If you're checking this out on Racing America, whether it's on the X or on the Facebook or on the YouTubes or any of those things, wherever you're consuming Dirty Air. So it's going to be that whole road, and it's pretty simple. If you look at this, because if you're a subscriber, if you're a sub, as they call them in the industry, you're going to have Racing America all throughout the year, which I'd like to say that the Racing America sub price is really good. I pay for Racing America, and I have no problem doing that. I have done stuff for other streamers, and I pay for most of them. There is one that I work for, that I do some work for, and I don't pay for that one. And it's because they don't, I mean, long story. But anyway, that's the whole thing. You just want the best bang for the buck. You want the best presentation. You want the best production. You want the best coverage. You want the dedication. Racing America Speed 51 has done that. I know that's going to carry over to Flow. And just remember to catch everything right here. So anyway, so all of that happens, but this is on the heels of this past weekend with all of the controversy, all of everything that we had at Talladega. And a lot of the Talladega stuff, not to get on the NASCAR thing, but don't click off. Don't click off, because I'm not going to talk about the racing. What I'm going to talk about is Fox's presentation. There were a lot of folks where it's like, oh, they're playing too many commercials. And hey, look, if they're having to play commercials, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That's good for our sport. When people want to pay to advertise on a cup race or a Xfinity race or here, I mean, wherever, that's a good problem to have. And I totally get it. But here's where things are going to shift a little bit. Here's how you can eliminate a lot of that, is with streaming. And that's where with NASCAR, folks are going to, that you don't want to pay for streaming, but at the same time, you don't want commercials. There's got to be a little give and take right there. And James, I totally get what you're saying right here. And I'm I'm going to speak to this. I am not, there it is right there. I am not an employee of Racing America. This show is a subcontracted agreement that I have with them. The issue is the fact about you guys being Racing America. The pay-per-view, you got to pay, and then you got to pay for the Derby. That's great. I totally understand that, and I've heard that a lot of different times. But here is where I have made the case. And again, this is totally with the sense that things go wrong. Because you got to remember when it comes to streaming, a lot of it you're dealing with your own hotspots, with your own Wi-Fi, with your own modems and all of that. because I'm here to tell you, at least here in Texas, if I'm going to count on the racetrack to get me online, man, my ass is in trouble because they're not going to have the bandwidth. They're not going to have the capability to do it. But that to that point right there, subscription price of Racing America is I will tell you very low. Shop this thing around. I mean, if you pay it annually, I have thought many times that what Racing America should do. Probably going to get fired from this program because I'm giving opinions here, but I have thought that in the past, what Racing America should do is bump up that subscriber thing. I mean, bump that up and make it and fix it that way. But you know what's going to happen when you fix it that way is, well, hell, why'd the price go up? I mean, it's six, half a dozen, whatever that thing is. It's that whole scenario right there. Because $12, $14, I don't know. I don't see my credit card statement. I don't even know what this shit costs anymore. But you have it there, and then you have to pay that extra for the Derby or for some of those events. So that's the other part. When you look at the subscriber part, that's where I go back to. And Flow, I mean, Flow has been an innovator. They're right here in my town. They're right here in Austin. And, I mean, what they've done, it's just incredible what they've done. But at the same time, Racing America continues to excel with weekly racing. Right here in Texas, we have Race On. That was Race On Texas, where a lot of people reach out to me where they've heard my voice on that. And it's like, hey, that Race On Texas thing is pretty cool. I mean, no offense to them, but look at their monthly sub price. And that's where you kind of have to factor all that in when you're doing all that. And I am hardly not making excuses or anything for anybody. That's just the way that I think about it. And I get to sit here and talk, and you guys, I mean, feel free. Talk. It's totally good because the other part that I get is sometimes on a pay-per-view, not just here, but you get in a pay-per-view and it's like, well, the coverage dropped or I can't hear it or whatever the case. And that's where that happens everywhere, guys. I mean, that seriously happens everywhere. And it's really hard. It's really and the pay-per-view. And here's Todd, great question. How many pay-per-views does Flow have? Zero. And I'm assuming that the Derby is not going to be a pay-per-view, but just compare the monthly thing. And that's where it's not a slight on them, and it's not a slight on the folks that this show's network is on. Just kind of telling you to look at it from different ways. I mean, what the Race On people do here in Texas is they have one price, approximately $40. You get all these tracks and you can watch whatever the hell you want to watch. Like this weekend in Texas, I think I'm going to be in Corpus Christi. We've got stuff everywhere. It's a wide selection, and you just kind of go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So it really is a matter of that. And look, this is a great conversation to have. And that's why I do this show as much as possible, why I do it live. And I'm here to tell you guys, when I say something, I'm hardly right. I'm wrong most of the time. And it's not a matter of getting in a bitching match with you guys because you guys are great. I see how many people watch this and listen to this and watch rebroadcasts and podcasts. And I'll be damned. I don't know why you guys want to sit around and watch me ramble about short track racing. But Dirty Air is where the short trackers gather, and this is what we do. And see, the conversation we're having right here, this just proves that we can have nice, open, constructive communication. Not a bad thing to say, right? Here as we do it again on a Thursday. And very excited to have all of you with us on the program as we will talk everything short track racing. It is where the short trackers gather, is what we like to say. Is we are live a lot of different places, of course, on Racing America being the biggest platform of them all as we come in on a Thursday. So let's go in, and we are actually we're going on the dirt side to start off this week. Kind of a lot of times it's back and forth, but we are on dirt. Talking some Crate Racing USA, of course, Rogers Dab Chevrolet, the title sponsor there with Crate Racing USA. Matt Dooley joins me, point leader at the moment right now with that series, Crate Racing USA, as we go to Georgia. Matt, how you doing, my friend?
Good, man. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for being a part of it. I always ask folks, how's the weather where you are? Because like here in Texas, it's like I tell people the weather here is hot, it's horrible, and it's like, oh hell, it's cold over here, it's raining, whatever. So I always love starting with that.
Yeah, it's kind of a little colder here than normal. Normally, it's a little hot by April here, but it's been cold this week. But it's supposed to warm back up by Saturday for race day, so we'll be all right.
No doubt about it, and it's a really good thing right there as you guys get set to head to Dixie Speedway. We'll talk about that here in just a second. So, Matt, let's talk about the season so far. Crate Racing USA just mega competitive. 3 races, 3 winners. You're on top of the points. I believe it's about 6 points or so. Looks like a lot of balance with those 604s.
Absolutely, competition in Crate USA is really tough. You never know the week who's going to win. Like there's so many good cars, and we're all just so close together that it makes it a very competitive deal. And it's our deal's gone pretty good so far. We kind of went off to a rocky start at Needmore for our first race, but we've been kind of building since then and got some things going our way now. So just hope to keep trending in the right direction. And hope we can pull off a win here soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Consistency, the name of the game. Isn't that the cool thing there? I know with a series like Crate Racing USA with the late models, that balance right there where it puts it back in the hands of the driver. And that's, it's one thing to win with cubic dollars, as they say, but when it comes down to the driver, man, that's just some really cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. This crate deal, it's so similar to super racing, but yet so different. So like in super racing, the engines are just crazy expensive, right? So with this crate deal, you can get you a good motor from Roger Dabbs for, $8,000, and you deck it out and have it done for about 12, and you're ready to go racing. So, the cars are the same. We're still spending a lot of money on this thing. Like my car owner, he gives me the best equipment that I can ask for, and we take it from there. But yeah, it narrows the playing field up, and it makes everybody is good. So like with this crate deal, you're talking like you're separating everybody from 3/10 is the entire field. So it comes down to the driver, and it comes down to a good handling race car and having your stuff together. You have to really stay on top of it.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. Matt, talk about with Crate Racing USA. Talk about some of the tracks. Obviously, you've been to 3 already. You got Dixie coming up. Talk about some of the places that you guys are going, because I love the schedule, man. It is a very challenging schedule they throw at you guys.
It's a great deal, man. They go to a lot of really, really good racetracks. Like you said, we started off at Needmore. We've been to Cochran, and that was just in South Georgia. Last week we were in I-75 in Sweetwater, Tennessee, and kind of hit that East Tennessee deal a little bit. This week we're going to Dixie Speedway, which is in Woodstock, Georgia, a little bit north of Atlanta, a track that I'm familiar with, so I'm looking forward to going back there. We go to Snowy Raceway, which is my home track right here by the house. Mm-hmm. And then we also go to Mississippi, Florida, East Bay. Like, man, that's one of my favorite places. South Carolina, Tennessee. Like I said, like this whole Southeast deal, they really have put together a very very practical series that makes sense logistically for guys like me to be able to travel and still have a full-time job and work for a living and still go race. And they have a lot of good paying races, a lot of 10-to-wins, which for this kind of racing is huge. So chance to make some money and get after it.
Yeah, no doubt. How cool is it for you guys, Matt? You guys that follow this circuit, for example, that follow this, and you go to the different racetracks, and you've got if you want to call it the local hot shoe or whatever you want to call it, that gets in there to race with you guys. I think that's another beauty of the Crate Series, is that people are afforded the opportunity to do that when the series comes to town.
Yes, absolutely. Everywhere we go, you have to beat the local guy first, man, because they're all really, really good. They're better than we do, right? So whenever you show up, you have to beat their best and then beat the best in their whole region. The Southeast region is very, very competitive as it is. And then you got your local guys that all have very good equipment as well, just as good or better than we do. So it makes it tough on us, traveling this deal. going to places that either I've never seen, they've never seen. It's a lot thrown at us, but it just makes it that much more fun. I absolutely love going to different places. I did some traveling too with selling All-Stars, super late model stuff in the previous year. So I'm kind of accustomed to the traveling deal, the regional stuff. So a lot of places that we were going to, I've been to before with our super late model stuff. So I'm looking forward to going back to there and kind of building off some notes there. But like I said earlier, this crate deal is different. So a lot of things change and are different. But it's, trying to face these local guys are tough, man. No win is easy. That's a fact.
Yeah, and those guys are waiting. I know it's like when the series comes in, they're like, "All right, bring them on. Let's see what the hell's going to happen right here." Yeah, no doubt. You mentioned there about the Southern All-Star Series. What else are you doing this year? Are you solely this? I think you've already actually done some Southern this year. What else on your agenda?
Yeah, so we're focused on this Crate USA deal. Going to try to run the whole thing. And run my super stuff when I can. It's kind of a select schedule, just hit and miss. Run some big races, some of the Hunt the Front series. But Crusoe has us busy, man. Like, we're racing a lot. So I won't get to race my super very much, but, hey, I'll race it when I can. And hopefully down the road this year we can go to some cool places. I'm wanting to go to Eldora, maybe a Fairbury, just kind of get out and travel a little bit with it when the money allows. And but our main focus is this Crate USA deal. It's money's really good. The racetracks are awesome. Just it fits our wheelhouse. Like, my car owner, he works his butt off every day for a living. My dad and me run a machine shop here in Georgia, so we work every day. So it's really like the working man series. You can have a full-time job, balance that, race too. So it's really good.
Yeah, I love the late model series, especially a crate late model series like that. We've got one here in Texas. It's trying to get its feet under it, but it's tough. I mean, it's tough down here, but it seems like Louisiana, Mississippi, into Florida, obviously there, Georgia, where you are, it's been thriving. Tell folks if they want to keep up with everything you're doing. I know you've got a great Facebook page right there with. It seems like everywhere that you're traveling right there, it's real easy to stalk you and figure out what you were doing because it's all right there. Kind of tell folks where to find that and so forth.
Yeah, so it's follow us on Matt Dooley Racing on all platforms, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. My personal stuff's Matt Dooley on TikTok and Instagram, so with that deal. But yeah, my racing page on Facebook, we keep it up really well. Keep up with all our updates, what's going on throughout the week. We have some videos on there talking about things that are going on with the race at the race shop with my team, where we're going next. So, you guys can follow us on there, and cannot do this without all my sponsors. Have so many great people that have stepped up to help me out this year, and I'm really appreciative of all of them. Like I said, I have great car owners, Barry and Dory Copeland, Josh Copeland. Help us out a lot. And then we got Crown Security, JCB West Pro, Scott Dean, CSR, Clint Smith Racing, TMT Grading, Rural Brand, New Point Lighting and Design, Oris Towing. Like, I've got Rocket Chassis, GW Performance, Integra Shocks, just Williams Body Works. Like, man, I got so many people that helped me on this deal, and Fowler Sales and Service, Rottler Manufacturing. The car's right behind me here. I should be looking, but do that all of them.
We can pull it up one more time there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's some of them right there. So absolutely a great looking machine that you have right there. And of course, as I mentioned, the point leader and you guys are getting ready to head to Dixie Speedway. Man, looking forward to it. I'll be following along, Matt. And again, MattDooleyRacing.com. Go to that website right there, and all kinds of good stuff there. Matt, I appreciate you taking the time this afternoon, my friend, diving into the dirty air. Good luck this weekend, buddy. And let's do this again soon, man.
Thank you so much.
You got it, man. Take care. Racing, the Gulf Coast has it this weekend, and it's all on RacingAmerica.tv. It all starts Friday, April 26th with Race 2 of the Blizzard Series at Five Flags Speedway. Then on Saturday, April 27th, the stars of the ASA Southern Super Series make the short trip over to Mobile International Speedway for another full night of grassroots racing. For more information, go to southernsuperseries.com and be sure to watch on racingamerica.tv.
Hooters and racing go together like killer wings and ice-cold beer. Racing has been at the core of Hooters' DNA from the beginning. Whether it's backing the best drivers or serving up the best food on race day, race fans know Hooters is the real deal. Big screens, great food, good times. Hooters, the official home of race fans.
And Sunday, April 27th and 28th. The Oxford Championship Series hits the track Saturday, featuring super late models. Then on Sunday, the past super late models go for 150 laps. Plus, the American Canadian Tour late models compete in the Pine Tree State 125 as they all battle it out for short track supremacy. Come enjoy a weekend of fast fun and be at Oxford Plains Speedway, April 27th and 28th. And you can catch it all only on Racing America.
Rogers Dab Chevrolet was just a regular car dealership here in Brandon, Mississippi, and about 10 years ago we started branching off with our parts department, and we became one of the top 3 largest parts departments for powertrain, for engines and transmissions in the country. So in doing so, why not support the industry that supports the most powertrain, which is your performance engines and racing? And there's a need there that was not being filled. There was a customer base that was not being taken care of.
We keep the sealed crate motors in stock, the 602, the 604s, the 525s. Whether you're driving a late model or a modified or a street stock, we've got an engine for your car. We also carry the accessory kits, KRC drives. We also do Gary Williams carburetors. We've been in this for a couple years now, and we're doing it to benefit the racers.
Everyone is trying to get into racing, knows that it's not a cheap sport to get into. So price structure was a big thing in taking care of the racers, and we knew early on that we did not want to make this a profit center. We wanted to make it about the racers. Price is a big thing. However, customer service is where it's at. And we've had several instances where racetracks have called us and said, hey, we had a driver out here qualifying and their engine popped. And it's Friday night at 9 o'clock. And our team, Benny and Ryan, are calling me and saying, hey, boss, we need to take care of this race car driver. Let's get them an engine as soon as possible. And they'll be here before sunrise the next morning on Saturday morning, pulling that engine, getting it to that person so they can get it installed and be racing that night. That's the kind of customer service we want to deliver.
And get access to over 200 live pavement short track races each season from across the U.S. and Canada. Plus, RacingAmerica.tv has exclusive and behind-the-scenes coverage of the NASCAR Cup teams.
Enjoy competing with your teammates.
We already know. Subscribe today and claim additional discounts and access. And your front row seat to watch the excitement and drama.
Car lifts up in the air.
From grassroots to NASCAR, become a subscriber today at the home for race fans everywhere.
You're watching Racing America right here on Racing America.
Racing America. It's in our DNA.
Thursday, Dirty Air, we roll on once again as we dive back into a great conversation. That's what we've been doing. We just talk short tracks. We just talk about what everybody else wants to talk about, and we're going actually this time to the hotline and bringing in one of my favorite folks to talk about, Brooke Storer. Brooke, first of all, how's everything going?
Everything's going great. How's it going with you, Rodney?
Doing well. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on this evening. Let's talk about the weekend. You got it done. Punch that ticket back in victory lane. How cool was that for you?
Man, it was awesome. It was, I think I told my mom and my dad, it was, pulling in victory lane, it was like the biggest weight lifted off my shoulders. It's been a long couple of years and stressful couple of years, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I should say, going into it. And for it to finally pay off this was one that I had to let soak in for a minute.
Yeah, I can only imagine that. So talk about that, Brooke. When it comes to the sportsmen, outlaws, whatever you want to call it, you have been. You were so long the one to beat, but when you get into kind of the struggles that you've been having there, kind of talk about that a little bit. That's really hard to overcome.
It is, and I mean this sportsman class. I mean, whatever you want to call it now. I mean, I still call it wheelman, SRL, UARA, whatever you want to call it now. This is one of the toughest series that I've ran a lot of race cars in my life, ran a lot of places, went to the Carolinas, everywhere, and this has been one of the toughest things to ever do, to ever win races in, to ever make any accomplishments in, and. Man, I mean, yeah, we used to do good back, 2018 through 2020. I mean, it was almost weird if we went to the racetrack and we weren't sitting P1 and practice qualifying and then have a 17 car invert and drive through the field and win the race. Like if we didn't do that, something was way off. And here the past couple of years, it's just been me and Dad. And that's one of the coolest things about this weekend. Me and Dad, we got this thing done this weekend. We didn't have any hired help. We had some good friends come over and help. But as far as the car goes, setting up the car, everything, I mean, that was all on my dad. So it was one of those deals where I think before I looked at this as almost a job, and it was my job to go out there and get the win and, get it done and move on to the next one, where this one was more a family thing. And so that made it so much more important to, I think, both of us and all of us. I mean, everybody a part of it, everybody's seen the big relief from both of us. Like, we can do this together, and we don't need to hire help to get it done.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was the best part. When I saw that you won that race and I saw it was you and your dad, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is so cool. But speaking to that, so kind of talk about how these cars have changed. I mean, it's a very competitive class, no matter what you call it, like you were talking about. But my goodness, I mean, you get it's kind of it's great in a sense that you have good competition, but at the same time, it kind of sucks because you get folks that you kind of get that PLM and super late model feel when folks start doing this stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, even after we won that race, me and Dad, we were sitting there after everything was all said and done. We were having a drink, and my mom and my brother were grilling some burgers and everything. And we were sitting there talking with some of our guys that came out and helped, and we were like, man, everybody just thinks this stuff's just easy. And because it's not a super late model or whatever, they think it's easy. And it's not. It's not by any means. I mean, even we went to this wasn't a series race, but it had a lot of the series cars in it. I mean, it had the two cars that finished behind me have won majority of the races in the past 2 years. And like I said, it's just not easy. So whenever it all kind of came together and we got it done, I was like, man, like, okay, like a lot of these people are still hiring crew chiefs for $3,000 a weekend, $5,000 a weekend. And for us to kind of show up like we did, we knew we had a good car. We know we've always got a good piece. But it's just fine tuning those little things and everything working together. And finally this weekend it did. I mean, yeah, we've had some bad finishes here recently, but it's not because lack of effort by any means, by anyone.
Oh, no doubt about that. And yeah, Sozio and Webster right there behind you. Talk about that part, though, for you, Brooke, the driver. In the time that I raced, which was many years, I mean, there were times where, when things didn't go well, I mean, the confidence, all of that, the mind games, man, it messes with you. And that
100%.
Right. And then you get on the track and you kind of squash that the way you did this weekend. I mean, I think the psyche part of Brooke Storer right now is like, give me whoever I want. I'm going to kick their ass right now.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of, my dad, him hearing it, he, like, when we call each other during the week and stuff, he could tell I was getting down on myself. My mom, I mean, Cody's seen it every day. I mean, it was just like, man, like, do I just need to hang it up? Do I need to quit? Do I not have it no more? Like, I mean, I had that bad wreck at Five Flags, and really since then I haven't won a race. I'm like, man, I know, like, I'm not scared of these things by any means, but I just don't know what I'm kind of lacking, since that wreck and all. And finally this weekend, I feel like I just had enough, and I was like, I'd had enough of, not accomplishing anything, not finishing races and everything else. And I went into this with a totally different mindset this weekend, and I knew, I sat there and I told myself, I'm like, everybody's worked so hard for this and putting all their time and money and everything into it every single day, every weekend, and we just haven't been finishing races. And now this weekend was on me. And we showed up Friday night. We kind of fought the racetrack a little bit. They put a traction compound down, which I rolled out there the first session. And I was like, we were rolling around under pace laps. I thought it was like I thought it was sticky. All of a sudden you get on the gas and it turned into grease. And I was like, man, this is going to be this is going to be a tough Friday night practice right here. Like, we could definitely adjust this thing way out the park and easy, And as the night went on, things got better. We made little changes, and Dad made all the right calls, of course, all weekend. He never hesitated, and we just kept pushing forward. We went out there Saturday practice, missed the first practice, just because we knew how that traction compound was the day before and that heat and stuff. So we sat out, waited for the second practice, knew we were going to be pretty good. Went out there, qualified second, and I was like, okay, like, we got something to work with here. Like, qualifying second with this group of cars, we got something to work with. And they rolled the dice, rolled a 2. I started on the pole, and we never looked back.
No, that's a great thing. It was such a cool thing to see that. So what happens now? I mean, that's kind of the hard part is you go out and you're back where you want to be. I mean, everything is back. The car is back. Your mind is back, and you're confident and all of that. When do we get to see Brooke Storer back on the racetrack again? Please tell me you're not taking 3 months off. You need to be racing right away.
That's not the plan by any means. There's a few more things I want to upgrade on that car here over the next couple of weeks and get it, just a few things I'd like to upgrade. So I'm going to take a couple of weeks, like I said, do that. And we got, as far as the team goes, we got Marty racing Marshmallow Dot this weekend. So that's kind of taken up this weekend. But also, I'm in a position now where I also have to, take off time work and all that. So I got to look at the schedule, see when we're going to go again. Definitely, I'm already itching. So it definitely won't be 3 months, I promise.
No. And talk about that part. Talk about Marshmallow. I saw that on social media. Kind of tell folks what that's all about. I mean, with you guys, I saw that and I'm like, okay, here it comes again. Kind of describe what that is.
Marshmallow is that super stock that Cody loves to death. I think she loves that thing more than she loves me, but whatever. That's just one of those race cars, man. It's just a happy race car. I mean, that's what I've always said about my race car, even though we struggle with it for a little bit. But I mean, when you find one of those happy race cars, man, they're just unbelievable. And that's one of them. And we got Marty Catrick behind the wheel of it this year, running for points over there. So she's going to go work on that. Of course, I have to work on Saturday, but I'll drive over there after work. So the biggest thing for me on my side of it really is just finding a good weekend to take off work. And with right now, the season that is selling houses, I'm missing out on a lot if I take off some work. I got to make sure that I can still pay these racing bills and all. So I got to make sure I just time it out right for pick the next one.
Isn't that the funny thing? Folks, when they talk about racing and all that, it's like, what a great life. With you guys racing and doing all these different things, it's like, it doesn't pay much. And you still have to work your ass off during the week. So it's not as great as folks really think it is.
No, I mean, I just got off work at 6:30 and we're already over here. We're moving race cars around. We got another thing coming up. So we've got a few race cars that we're messing with, but we'll announce that later. And we're just trying to, keep moving forward and keep building our team, Cody Brusso Motorsports and my side of it as well at Brooke Storer Motorsports, of just moving this whole thing forward and climbing the ladder and seeing what we can do as crew chiefs as well as drivers.
That's right. That's right. Check these ladies out on Facebook. Really good stuff right there. Brooke, I'm so proud of you. I was so happy to see that. That's why I was like blowing you up. I'm like, okay.
Thank you, Rodney. I appreciate all your support.
Yep, you betcha. All right, you guys be well. Kick Cody in the ass for me, and I hope to see you guys really, really soon. Y'all be well.
Yes, you too. Thanks, Rodney.
You got to take care.
Bye.
Bye. And Sunday, April 27th and 28th. The Oxford Championship Series hits the track Saturday, featuring super late models. Then on Sunday, the past super late models go for 150 laps. Plus, the American-Canadian Tour late models compete in the Pine Tree State 125 as they all battle it out for short track supremacy. Come enjoy a weekend of fast fun and be at Oxford Plains Speedway April 27th and 28th, and you can catch it all only on Racing America.
Hooters and racing go together like killer wings and ice-cold beer. Racing has been at the core of Hooters' DNA from the beginning. Whether it's backing the best drivers or serving up the best food on race day, race fans know Hooters is the real deal. Big screens, great food, good times. Hooters, the official home of race fans.
Racing, the Gulf Coast has it this weekend, and it's all on racingamerica.tv. It all starts Friday, April 26th with race 2 of the Blizzard Series at Five Flags Speedway. Then on Saturday, April 27th, the stars of the ASA Southern Super Series make the short trip over to Mobile International Speedway for another full night of grassroots racing. For more information, go to southernsuperseries.com and be sure to watch on racingamerica.tv. Great conversations that we have had this evening. I love that with Brooke. Like I was talking about her getting back to victory lane, it's been a struggle for her, and that was why I really wanted to dig in and talk about mindset, because I mean that's a big part of this. And of course, right there with Matt Dooley with Crate Racing USA, you know that's a Rogers Dabbs series right there, and that right there is really how you dive in and do that stuff, and what Crate Racing USA has done with Adam Stewart and those guys is they've done a really good job. You know, I was talking here a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, where you had a situation where an engine builder got thrown out, because of some modifications or whatever that's happened right there. And again, that's where, with these Crate engines, where Adam Stewart and Crate Racing USA has done a really good job of leveling that thing out, and Dixie Speedway is going to be the place to be. There for Crate Racing USA coming up this weekend. Speaking of getting thrown out, just a couple of tidbits here on my way out is who would have ever thought that we would be talking about an IndyCar race where you got two drivers thrown out. Thrown out is the old adage that we talk about all the time. I know it took a lot of folks, when we talk as racers and talk about, when you get disqualified, you get thrown out. And it's like, yeah, thrown out? What are you talking about? Well, that means you got disqualified. Two Indy cars, the two Penske cars with the push to pass thing, go by the wayside. And that's something I'm assuming that's going to continue to be a story. But anyway, very odd to see that right there. I think it's just bad timing there for IndyCar that happens right there, with other things that they may have to be dealing with on the marketing side and media when it comes to that series. I do want to pull this up right here if I can. Take a look right there, guys. And I've pulled myself over to the side. This is over on the Twitter side. I got to tell you, this yesterday to me was so cool. This screen share right here that Kyle Larson is going to be running the Terry Labonte Kellogg's number 5 car livery there at the throwback race. I know a lot of times with the throwback race, that gets to be a little, stupid, I guess, really the one way to say that. But for me, to see that car make a comeback, to see that paint job back on, that would only be better. That would only be better to me if it actually said Kellogg's. But I totally get that part, and I totally understand why it is not there. But really cool to see that. I've said it. I don't own. I think I tweeted this out. I don't own a lot of die casts. I don't buy die casts just for the hell of it. I buy them because they're real special to me. And there is one sitting here in the Dirty Air studio. And it sits right here amongst all my screens. And it is a 1993 Terry Labonte Kellogg's diecast that sits right here with me each and every day. So to see that happen right there, that was really cool. And you know, Terry, man of many words right there. He looked really overcome with kind of taken aback with that, even though I think he really knew what that was. But to actually see that, I think was really cool. A couple of things to talk about from last weekend, the Cars Tour at Orange County, late model stocks. It's Brent Cruz going to Victory Lane, his first win in the late model stocks. I was trying to get him on here, but he had some testing on Wednesday. Then he was doing some actually testing today on Thursday. I thought I might be able to pull him in live. I couldn't do it. He had to do some stuff for a manufacturer. So anyway, but big congratulations there for him in the pro late model. Caden Honeycutt second in that race. Pro late models in the Cars Tour. It's Caden Honeycutt that wins that race over Nick Loden, Spencer Davis, and Connor Jones. So yeah, Cars Tour. I mean, what can you say? That right there is a show each and every time. It doesn't matter which one of those divisions that you may be checking out. Of course, the talk of the town, the talk of everything down south is, of course, that old doubleheader that we have coming back once again. I mean, and it really does bring back those all-pro memories back to where you have the Friday at Pensacola and the Saturday at Mobile, and I think it's only enhanced with the news that we had today. And of course, if you are checking in late here, if you're not a Facebooker and somehow you're finding this somewhere else, Snowball Derby coming up this year, the 57th annual rendition of that tradition coming up there at Five Flags Speedway in December. $50,000 to win for the winner. So, and I can only guesstimate that there will be additional monies that'll be thrown around right there that could tend to make that even more. But a really big deal right there with the Derby coming up. A couple of things that I'm looking forward to. I mean, not only that, and of course the doubleheader right there. You can catch all of that track TV and Racing America kind of working together right there, so you can catch both of those events with the doubleheader coming up between Pensacola and Mobile. I am very excited about the. I know I had Boo Carlisle on this show a couple of weeks back. I think it's been about a month and a half ago, and we were talking about the Star Super Stock Tour. Those guys racing for $1,000 to win. $1,000 to win this weekend, and I think that's going to be a really cool race to see as well. If you're looking for good old stock car racing, and of course you saw some of the ads that have been running here during our commercials, where it is the Jegs CRA All-Star Tour heading to Berlin, and that entry list actually just dropped about an hour ago. I think I saw that on the Racing America Facebook page. I can't count how many of those cars there are, but you got some good ones. So all of that available as we dive into another big weekend of short track racing. Again, $50,000 to win. The big news today for the Snowball Derby coming up at Five Flags Speedway in 2024. Looking forward to that, as that will be a really, really cool thing. A big thanks to everyone for jumping on here. And a big thanks to you guys. Like, the live segments. When I say it's live, it's live. Like right now, it's live. The interviews, obviously, were y'all impressed that I changed into a hockey shirt in between there, right there, with the Brooke Storer thing? I mean, at least I didn't subject you to having to see me change shirts with that. But anyway, when you get the beginning and end of this show, I can almost promise you 95% of the time it's live. So when I say it's live, if you got a comment, drop it in there, and we can do some interactive conversation. Find a short track this week, guys. And if you can't, find a streamer that's going to do some really cool stuff, because you got lots of really, really good stuff that's going to be coming up this weekend. We're going to be back here next Thursday. We'll do this all over again. We will do this madness all over again, guys. And it's right here on Dirty Air. And I thank each and every one of you for being a part of the program. I'm very blessed that you all have continued to follow this show, and we will continue to bring you the best content possible when it comes to talking short tracks. Because two things: number one, dirty air. Clean air is good times like this. Dirty air just a tad bit better. It's actually three things. Number two, Dirty Air. It's where the short trackers gather. And number 3, of course, Dirty Air on a Thirsty Thursday. There you go right there. That's your reasons for watching. All right, guys, you have a great weekend. Enjoy your short track racing. Watch some of that NASCAR stuff, too, if you happen to have an inkling to do that. I didn't bring up scoring pylons. That's stupid. That is dumb. The one track, Dover happened to have theirs still up. Whatever. Anyway, we'll talk about that some other time. All right, you guys, be well. Clean air is good. Times like this, dirty air, tad bit better. Y'all have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday right here on Racing America.